What's up, Pierce? You there?
Pierce.
Yeah, he's on. I don't know if he's on mute though. Hey, Mark Salent, can you
Yes.
can you help me with roll call? Just just look at the
I
attendee.
have everyone in right now.
Oh, man, you're on top of it, man. That's awesome.
Try.
And then Marco Chaffiat, he just joined. Can you hear us, Marco?
Hey guys, how are you?
Boom, there he is. Cool. Let's get started, guys. There's probably some more people that are going to join. There was about 8 or 9 people that RSVP'd yes, but yeah, let's get started, man. This has been.
Hey, guys,
hey, what's up? Is that Lauren?
Just joined in. Yeah, it's Lauren from CTS.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just kicking it off right now. Just doing some housekeeping stuff. So thanks for joining us. Is Alan going to be joining us as well, or is it just you?
He is. He is. He's right here too.
Hey, what's up, Alan? How are you?
I'm doing great. Hope you are.
Do you hear that?
Can you hear me?
Yep. Oh yeah, I can hear you. My Google Assistant is going off right now. I think it activated. Cool. All right. Well, yeah. Let's get started, man. This has been an amazing week. We've had so many things happen. Lock Alchemy, Mark Salent, he started that Instagram group chat, and we quickly outgrew it. I think within like a day. Is that how long? That was so much fun, but it was very annoying because we were all like at work, I think, in the field getting notifications nonstop. So we we moved it to Slack, and I think Slack is like one of the key components to helping us stay in touch throughout the day and grow this community. So big props to Pierce for starting that, and big props to Mark Salent for getting that kicked off. And if you haven't joined the Slack channel, yeah, absolutely. If you haven't joined the Slack channel, reach out and we'll get you into the workspace. So yeah, let's just remind everybody that we're here to build the community. We're talking about growth strategies and then do some knowledge sharing. So this focused topic is going to be access control. It's a big hot topic for everyone, not necessarily everyone, but it's all connected in some form or fashion. Whether you're an MSP, do structured cabling, you're doing something along the lines of access control. So it's a pretty hot topic, and I'm pretty excited for it. So the first and foremost, let me make sure I press record. Yes, I did. Phone's on mute. So just reduce the amount of noise or put it on mute. It sounds pretty good right now. So thank you for that. And then we're going to talk, this is further down the agenda, about the Slack channel. And I'll kind of have the Slack channel open. And if anybody wants to maybe chime in the general channel, just drop a little note in there, or you can just kind of raise your hand. We'll try to figure out the best way to communicate during these ambassador meetings. And then we have two organizers, including myself. So we have Marco Chaffiat from Enterprise CC, and we have Mark Salent from Lock Alchemy, kind of helping me guide through this very large, sizable agenda we have. So let's get after it, guys. Let's first start with the previous action items. So there was a document that I sent out. It has all the social media links. Everybody has access to that. And you have editing capabilities too, if you want to go in and fill out your stuff here on like the Facebook, Instagram, all the social links, so we can all just kind of keep connected, stay on the path with engaging each other, stay positive, and kind of give us feedback as we go down this social media marketing journey together. So next item from the previous action items, interact with ambassadors. So we're starting that Slack ambassador private channel. So that's coming down the pipeline. And then use the hashtags and hashtag list. I sent out a big old list of hashtags that everybody has access to. So feel free to use those on your post, and use the hashtag low voltage nation where applicable. I would really appreciate that. Cool. The next item, just want to follow up on, I'm going to actually kick it over to Mason Bortz. I just want to follow up and make sure you got some answers on your Paxton reader extender and working with Windy City Wire. So Mason.
Yeah, I need to reach out to Marty and get some cable from him to try that out here at the shop. But yeah, Marco, thank you for to send me the link over for all of that. I'm gonna go ahead and get some of that ordered.
Absolutely.
And start working at the shop. We like I said, we ordered general cable for a long range reader for a Paxton gate system, and that thing would not work. If it was, we had to cut the cable down to like 35 feet, and then the long range reader would work consistently. So I want to try to get some different Windy City wire and see how long one of those long range readers will work on that. Do you have any experience using that, one of those long range readers?
Is it just the Paxton seems to be the issue with it? You think, Mason, or you're not sure?
I believe it. I think the cable is because the shorter the cable length we got, it was a 22 gauge cable. Once the long range reader was down to about 35 feet of cable, then it would consistently work. But if it was any longer than 35 feet, it wasn't consistently triggering with the key card. So I wanted to see the belt and stuff the Paxton recommended was about 75 cents a foot, which wasn't terrible, but
Okay.
we don't really use it a lot. So
Yeah, I haven't had issues with anything like that.
Okay.
Usually we'll go like 500-600 feet at a maximum, really before we get any issues. It's kind of like a POE rule of thumb
Yeah.
mindset. And what's good is too, if you maybe want to try something out and say like, hey, I just need like 100 feet, they'll cut
Yeah.
it for you.
Okay.
And that may help as well.
Okay. Yeah, well, and I think part of it is just the engineering too on that Paxton reader. When I called Paxton about it, I said, "Oh yeah, we just installed one of those long range readers," and they were like, "Well, how long did it take you to get to work?" I was like, "All right, well, yeah, we got it to work, but that's probably not the best response."
Yeah, it sounds like a rather bold answer, right?
Yeah. But yep, thank you. I'm gonna try that out, and then I'll update everyone on that. So thank you.
Cool.
Absolutely, you got it.
Yep. Thanks, Mason. Thanks, Marco. Next item is feel free to reach out to Lock Alchemy. So Mark Salent is kind of like our resident locksmith expert.
Definitely.
And, yeah. Yeah. He's been, I can just kind of tell just by looking at stuff on Instagram and DMs and working with Mark directly that he is like really responsive and good on that. So,
well, and I know nothing about doors, so I'm going to. We had actually we quoted out a facility here locally, and the locksmith called me because they had a locksmith they wanted to use, and he was asking me questions, and then he just got to the point where he said, "Oh, so you know nothing about doors, do you?" I'm like, "Yep." No.
Hey, you always have to start somewhere. If you ever have any questions about doors, locks, anything like that, just feel free, send me a message.
Yes.
Well,
I'll be posting those
way too much, so I'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Cool. Yep. Thank you. Next item, we're going to get into the meat of the agenda around access control. So Marco Chaffiat had some stuff. I'm going to kick it over to him, and let's just kind of just look at what we've got for the electronic side for access control. And Marco, just what are your thoughts on these items that you put on the agenda?
Just kind of like, different regulations and code things we see a lot of. Sometimes people put mag locks in with different things and not put the appropriate egress rules. And we do a lot of things in the city and whatnot, so there's all different types of systems and keeping it clean and just it's good practice to just keep things where they should be. It's not a hard thing to do. And whenever you can keep something clean and, you want to make it look like it's never changed. That's the key. So that's a big thing, and it doesn't usually impact cost. So that's one of the key, I guess the key points I would say, just by what we had down there.
Right. Yeah. For me, it's a challenge, especially working with like the maintenance people and the building owners. A lot of times doing retrofits, I have to communicate with them to move hinges over. There's all sorts of obstructions. So I'm just getting, kind of my hands dirty with access control and mag locks, especially. It's been quite the challenge for me. So this is actually good resources that you put in here with the mag lock concealer plates, because that's a big issue for customers. They're like, that looks terrible. I'm like, okay, how do we make it look better?
Well, and you got to watch with mag locks too, right? So a lot of people don't generally put them in with the right hardware, And you have to realize that a lot of times, just because you have a door closer doesn't mean that that door is not going to hit that mag lock. There's always going to be some type of force or contact. I mean, it really should be a soft close, but the doors don't always work that way.
Right.
So you want to make sure that you have the right screws, lock tight on it, the right header plates, the right brackets. Everything's got to be done correctly, because God forbid that falls, you guys are liable for it, and you don't want to have that kind of claim, especially if it hits somebody. That's an issue. We've had jobs where we get a call and we're like, "Oh, the mag lock's falling down," and we're like, "Well, we didn't put that one in." And you go there and it's hanging on by a thread, and that is not something that you want to have come down, because they are not light.
Right. Can you guys see the pictures that I'm scrolling through right now? The concealer plates. Can you see that?
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah. I actually had an issue with, yeah, it does. Yeah. I actually had an issue with, I guess the armature plate. There's these little pins that are in there that kind of stabilize it. I had two doors at a community college. They broke off on two separate doors. Has anybody seen that like happen? I don't know if I installed it incorrectly or what.
So you gotta watch those, right? Those pins, you generally can't replace the pins. You have to change the armature plate.
That's what we did.
What we generally see when they break is usually like a move-in, right? So we deal with a lot of condo, multi-tenant buildings, and people beat the living heck out of these doors. And they'll hit it, I mean, sometimes we'll get them on camera, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, well, caught red-handed," right?
Yeah, right.
But if those pins aren't there, that mag lock will spin. That armature plate will knock out of balance. And if it doesn't make contact right, that door is not going to lock.
Yeah, it was actually obstructing the door so it wouldn't open at all. Like, that's how much it was spinning around. So it was a real problem.
Believe it.
And it was at a community college, and they were just beating the living crap out of these doors.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Cool. Mark Salent, any comments on the electronic side, or like, doing things right?
Yeah. I just want to echo what Marco says. Just have every screw, every plate. I mean, the amount of stuff that I pick up just for a backup, because you're always doing a retrofit. You normally don't. At least I don't normally come across fresh doors that are a blank canvas. So normally I'm working around other holes. People have, they drilled in some really wonky holes, and then you put on your template, and it's just a hair off of what you actually need. And so you're always trying to figure out how you can get that screw in there correctly. So just always have extra plates, extra screws, and people do beat doors. So I'm in Cleveland, so we have all 4 seasons, and that's going to be really regional. But our doors suffer a ton of abuse because we have the humidity in the summer, and then we have the winter where it's cold and you get salt. So you have the freeze thaw cycles. A lot of times it's just back to back, and the doors just take a beating, and then people just abuse doors.
Right. I actually want to take some time. I saw that John Laurie's on the call right now. I know that, hey John, I know that you're really big into the electronic side, like the programming, because you're kind of a big deal because you invented ProWatch. So I just want to first and foremost introduce you and say thank you for joining the ambassador team. You're a huge contribution to it. But did you have anything you wanted to add on the electronic side? Doing things right. Just wanted to let you get the floor for a minute.
Well, thanks. I'm currently lost in the woods right now in northwestern Connecticut. I'm glad I have GPS, but I can't be too far lost because I still have cell signal. But
that's hilarious.
Anyway, be that as it may, one thing to that regard is yes. I mean, I was one of the co-founders of ProWatch, and I also ran firmware at Mercury for a time. But one of the things is I'm interested in learning from you guys the actual hardware installation at the edge. So I can tell you all about different ways and concept how maglock should behave, and things called shunt inputs and all that. But but I am not, I'm not a journeyman, not an electrician.
Right.
And I wouldn't know how to wire one. I would say that, from speaking about maglocks and access control systems in general, I've seen stuff, at a configuration level where people will put relock the door output immediately after opening, and obviously you don't want to do that on a maglock door because people will lose fingers as soon as you break that contact. So, and I can tell you stories about some large jobs I've been on where exactly that happened.
Oh my gosh!
But on this particular subject, I don't have anything to add except for maybe some humor.
Yeah, I know. There's plenty of stories you have. I've heard a lot of them, so I really appreciate. But yeah, John, I really appreciate you hopping on, man. This is actually pretty exciting because Alan from CTS, he mentioned that he listened to your podcast and was pretty stoked you were joining and you were on board. So maybe I can kick it over to Alan and see, because you guys do some access control. Did you have anything you wanted to chime in on or add to this conversation?
The biggest thing I would say is, you got to do this because it varies by area, and the AHJs, the authorities having jurisdiction, always kind of dictate what you want to put in and what you don't want to put in. We, in our area, the fire marshals hate maglocks with a passion. So right. we tend to lean to core in the door, putting in electronic hardware, putting in an electronic strike anywhere we can. We're running into more and more those stair tower doors where you've got to have a door that feels safe, but it's also got to be latched. And you got to have central kill switches. Maglocks don't fit any of those. Our experience with them is, you were talking about people destroying doors. They out-time the PIRs, and they're hitting that door before the door releases, and they're tearing at that maglock and messing up your installation all the time, whether they mean to or not. We kind of see them as an avoid. There's that glass door configuration where you can't put anything on there, but except for a maglock. But that's kind of our philosophy. The maglock is the last thing we ever go to for an install.
That's actually really interesting because I install a lot of maglocks. It seems like it's our go-to, and much to my chagrin, because I do not like installing them, just like you said. So,
what type of doors do you want up usually installing them on?
A lot of doors, like double doors in schools. I feel like I've done a lot of schools recently. So just I'm not sure like what types of doors they are exactly. So forgive my ignorance.
Oh. Typically in that double door configuration, we'll core the non-active leaf, put an electric stripe in it. If both leads have to be active, then you kind of get into a whole different situation where you got to use the maglock, or you got to go to a couple of panic bars with the electrified panic bars with the flesh bolts. But again, we try to stay away from, especially at the school level. We've actually gone in a bunch of occasions and taken the maglocks out because, as we all saw down in Florida, the kid walked in, pulled the fire alarm, and it basically gave him keys to the kingdom. He walked in through the maglock that was in the airlock. So electrified hardware can fail safe but secure. Maglocks drop out as soon as that fire alarm's pulled. So it can be a security thought and concern as well.
Interesting.
It's a good point, Alan. But you got to watch too. Depend, like you're saying, it's the AHJ. Sometimes if it's a perimeter door or a egress door, they're going to want that strike to fail safe, not fail secure. So it's like you're saying, it's going to be AHJ dependent. That's exactly right.
Yeah, double doors are the bane of my existence. That's pretty much it's pretty much it. One thing I just want to add is there are options for you might have to do some more door work or switch out the doors, but adding a center mullion. So basically, it's just a post that's in between two double doors.
You still there, Mark? Hello?
Hello?
I think we lost Mark. See if he's still on. Hello, Mark. Well, he was talking about mullions, and it's getting good. So, all right, we'll move on. See if he gets back. I'll just do a quick little note in the Slack channel. Mark Slent, I think we lost you. Question mark. All right, cool. Moving on, kind of kicks us over into unless anybody else had anything they wanted to talk about around access control. I know it's a big topic. So, Marco, was there anything else you wanted to add before we move on? Marco, you there?
I'm here. Sorry, I lost you for a second.
I thought I lost everybody. Like, show's over. Yeah, so I think Mark.
Yeah, just
Go ahead,
a lot
Marco.
of the key things are just you have to be aware, right? Like Alan was saying, AHJ is big, right? So sometimes we'll look out and we'll be handling the fire alarm plus the access control and all the other various wheelhouse items that we have. But you just have to be sure of what you're putting in. Generally, if you're working in the same area, you know the inspectors, you know what they want, you know what they look for. But just be aware, because you don't want to get caught with something happening where you get the system fired up and then someone can't get out of the building, or worst case, they get in the building and they really can't leave. So just be aware, really plan things out. Make sure whatever you're putting in is what the customer wants, number one, and what the AHJ wants. A lot of times we'll come across like the vertical rod doors with push bars, and I don't know about everybody here, but we do not have good luck with them at all. They generally do not last very long, and every time we have a problem with them, the customer's like, just take them out, put something else in. So recommendations are always good too. A lot of customers appreciate that, because sometimes the door hardware guys will just be like, we'll throw in this, we'll put in this or that. And you don't want to be dealing with inferior products, especially with high traffic areas or doors that are constantly, again, being bumped around, constantly moved. So just be aware of, like everything else, right? Be aware of your surroundings, be aware of the environment.
Yep. It's actually really good advice.
Yeah, just one recommendation on the vertical rod stuff. We've had a lot of that as well, and anything other than a Von Duprin, hate to go brand specific here, but they're the Von Duprin with the high.
You're going expensive.
Yeah, well, but you're talking about a door that's going to be actively used by a lot of people. Expensive means it lasts sometimes.
Right.
So it.
Absolutely.
And you've got a higher voltage requirement for it. You got to put that. You're within 50 feet of installing that power supply, because it's operating that way for a reason. It's a big power draw, but it lasts over and over and over and over again for those high occupancy places, schools, main doors going out of commercial Class A space, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, and we deal with a lot of cities, a lot of buildings in Manhattan, and we do a lot of Von Duprin stuff. And for example, if you compare like a HES strike or an ASA strike to like a Von Duprin, I mean, just the build quality, just the weight of them, you can tell you really get what you pay for. Not only life cycle wise, but just the build quality itself. So I'm definitely in agreement with you on that, Alan.
Cool. Let's jump down to the questions, because this is actually germane to the access control conversation. I'm going to kick it over to Mason. He had a lot of questions around some of the stuff. Mason, do you want to just start at the top and kind of let us know what you're thinking?
I mean, most of them have been answered.
That's what I kind of thought. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really, the big thing for me was, obviously, I'm really new to this, and I'm just looking to learn as much as I can. So we've been just using Paxton, and we've had pretty good luck with it. I see Marco put a lot of other things in there for me to take a look at. One of the questions I had was, has anyone used OpenPath before? Has anyone had any experience with that?
Are you talking about the those those Bluetooth readers that you don't have to swipe, that you just have to tap as long as.
We saw them at ISC this year at ISC West, and they looked pretty promising, but they just didn't have a very large lineup of different readers. It just looked to be just for doors, and they didn't really do anything specific for like intercom or gates or anything of that nature.
Yeah, I haven't used them in in actual installs yet, but I have talked to them. With some on ulterior motives. I mean, my midlife ambition is to start another PAX system, and I talked to OpenPath about using their readers, and because I think they'd be great to be able to use those readers and those concepts on other access control systems, and right now though you have to use theirs. That they're they gave the in my opinion kind of a high airy Silicon Valley kind of. Although I know they're out of LA, but their thing was, it's all about the user experience, and if we can't control the whole access control experience, then our whole model falls apart. And honestly, I think that my guess is within a year or two they're going to probably start selling, or at least like give an OSTP version of their stuff, because it's a great concept. I think it's awesome, but I want to use it either on my own packs or or on others. That's and I don't know if I don't know if they have any like old industry hands from access control, and not that that's always a good thing, but we'll see. But I think that all I know for certain right now is that you can't use them in except for you have to use their panels and
Gotcha.
with them, and that that's the way it's going to be for at least the next year.
Gotcha. Does anyone use quite a bit of Paxton equipment? And how's that?
Yeah. So sorry, I dropped out earlier.
Go ahead and repeat that question, Mason.
We use.
So has anyone used Paxton, and what was it?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mason.
No, that was a question. Just want to get it out.
Hey, this is Alan with CTS. We use our main enterprise is S2, which is joined in with Linnell. We use the Mercury-based side of that, but we still do quite a bit of Paxton. It definitely has its place in the market, just because of its flexibility and easy to deploy, especially on small to medium-sized sites. So we're a big fan of the Paxton product, but I would encourage you, as you get into more and more of the access to control, to try to connect in with one of the Mercury-based systems, whether you go Open Options or S2 or one of the other many sets that are out there, just because it gives you some flexibility that Paxton doesn't have for integrations, particularly if you've got the intrusion and camera systems and other items that you want to roll under one GUI and give your customers more enterprise level things that it can do.
Gotcha.
Cool. Anything else, Mason?
No, that was pretty much it. Just Paxton, some cable, and an OpenPath. I'm gonna look into all the stuff that Marco put down there for me, and I'm probably gonna be reaching out to Marco here for some additional questions.
Definitely, absolutely, Mason. Whatever you got, man.
Yeah. And we're probably going to be. You're out of New Jersey, correct?
Yes.
Well, we might be in New York here early next year, so might have to get together sometime while we're out there. We're doing some training out there.
Absolutely. For sure, man. You know, bring you by the shop and see if we can meet up and definitely whatever you need. I'm here for you.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Cool.
That's all for me.
Cool. Did we talk about Pro Data Key? That was on your list. I know that's a kind of I've heard a lot about that product. I wanted to make sure we're covering it. Were there any questions around that, Mason?
Nope, never heard of it. So,
okay, cool. Yep, I think Mark Salent, you kind of joined us again, and you also had some stuff around Pro Data Key that we were talking about offline. Did you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, sorry, I dropped out when I was espousing the benefits of millions. So just to circle back, like way back in the conversation when you guys were talking about panic bars with vertical rods. So are you talking about panic bars with both top and bottom vertical rods? What kind of issues were you guys having with them?
Yes, Mark. This is Marco. We come across a lot of them where they're storefront doors, glass storefront, where they put them on, and they are high usage doors. And the biggest thing that we see is that when the doors get that high usage and they're banged up, they knock out of alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And then the doors start to rub, the building settles.
Mm-hmm.
We generally won't go in there and adjust them unless, the customer says something to us. I mean, we're not checking it, once, twice a week, anything like that, or even once a month. If they're not on a maintenance program, we wouldn't check anything like that. But it generally seems like the rods, when they get really abused, they get bent, and that could be internal or surface mount. Or the building does settle and that alignment, just the doors never close right, and that's really the biggest thing that we see, which is not totally, the rod's fault. Like I'm saying, it could be the door issue as well. But those are the biggest things that we see, and we generally take a lot of them out. We try to fix them. Sometimes it'll take more time than it's worth. Unfortunately, we'll go and change them out. Maybe, or even do a shear mag, depending if it's a two-way door or a double hinge door, in and out. So it's really dependent. But those are the biggest issues that we see with them.
Makes sense. Yeah, no, they I
was going to say, this is Alan with CTS. The issues we see are solenoid versus motorized in the lock sets. The motorized just seems to, and you see that a lot on the aluminum storefront door. I think Imperial is one of the products you see out there. It's generally a retrofit kit they've done to try to electrify the hardware on it, and we just see those things fail left and right, especially on high duty doors. The lock sets when we're seeing them that work well and hold up over time are solenoid based, and they require a lot more power, but they fire every time, need a lot less adjustment, and can take a lot of out of tolerance just because they've got the power to do it.
Yeah, I've heard nothing good about electrified panic kits. No one. It's the mag lock of panic bars.
Cool. All right. Let's move on to the Slack portion of the meeting. So this is actually really cool. I've got it on the screen. I've got the whole Slack channel right here, and it's been an incredible way to communicate with people. So I was actually talking with Pierce because he's been getting requests to join. So we're going to open up the floodgates to get other people into the general channel. Hey, Pierce, are you on the call right now?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Sweet. So we talked about this, and then we were going to see if anybody wanted to maybe step up and be a moderator, because it really goes back to my only ask really is to have productive and healthy conversations. So it's not going to be like name calling or belittling or anything like that. It's going to be focused on the solution. We're going to stay in the solution in a healthy and productive way. And that's my only ask for this. This is our community. We built this together. And we want to open it up to more people from the Instagram community, just anybody that wants to join and kind of give, get some knowledge sharing going and just anything. So I just wanted to throw it out to the group and just kind of get a group go ahead on opening up the floodgates. So does anybody have any questions or any concerns around that? Pierce, what are your thoughts?
It's like I talked last night. I think it's fine, but I just think it could go off the deep end really quick unless we have a couple people moderating some of the groups and we limit, how many sort of sub channels there are within it.
Right.
I mean, I don't want this getting so big that it's just tons and tons and tons and tons of people, because it really started for the ambassadors and this core group of people to sort of talk and have a place to exchange ideas that was easier than Instagram group text.
Right.
If I could just chime in here, I mean, I think the whole reason behind the Instagram is for everyone to see everyone else's work, and the Slack is just for select people to talk. I think what would be really nice is to have multiple channels for different topics. So if you have like a question about security cameras or access control or structured cabling or anything, there would be a channel for that. So because like at the end of the day, I'm basically going through and spending about 20 minutes just scrolling through and reading everything to see if I missed anything. Right. And it's like, it'd be nice if I could just go, okay, what's going on? Let's just click on a channel that I'm interested in and see what people are talking about. Keeps things organized.
Yeah, I agree with that entirely. I think we should definitely break it out into channels, topic specific, to streamline management and make it easier to get caught up in everything. Because one giant general channel is going to get out of control.
Yep.
Right. It's almost like a streamlined, not Blackboard, but like a forum. But like you're saying, Pierce, keep it kind of tight, in a sense, because you don't want it to get out of hand, and you don't want people to go off topic. And I mean, we all have businesses, right? We're not here to goof around. I mean, Of course, you want to have light conversation, and discussion, but you also want to keep things on point, because kind of like how the Instagram channel is getting not flooded, but I mean, I look at my phone and I got 60 notifications. We're all busy,
right?
So
exactly.
we want to keep it relative.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like if we have. My fear is if we open this up to anyone and everyone, it's going to turn into like a giant Reddit and just be crazy in terms of managing it and sort of, like Blake said, if we want to keep it somewhat refined and somewhat controlled, we're going to have a lot of people moderating stuff, and none of us have the time to be doing that. And that's why I'm leery about making it wide open to every single person.
Maybe just a thought here. Maybe just having it open for the people that attend the this meeting every Sunday, I think would also be useful, and keeping it to a minimum, like Pierce has said, so that it doesn't just become a huge mess.
Yeah, we were kind of bouncing the idea of having the ambassador channel where it's just the ambassadors.
Yeah.
And then if somebody's interested but doesn't want to be an ambassador, and it's one of our colleagues or somebody on Instagram that we kind of know and trust, and they're interested to join, maybe just kind of be like, okay, yeah, they can join. That was kind of our thought. What do you think, Mason?
I'm okay with select invitees like that, but I don't want to just say everyone can start joining it, because I think it'll get really busy really quick.
I guess I kind of used the word floodgates in the wrong sense, but yeah, just having it open to everybody that we kind of already we've already vetted and trust and approve.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. Let's see how that works. So the takeaway from that, I'll just kind of do some action items here. So I'll take ownership for that. So Blake will create ambassador private channel, and then who wants to create the sub channels, like the access control channel? Does anybody want to take ownership?
I'll do that.
Okay,
I can do that.
Who is that? Marco? I'm getting confused.
Pierce.
Pierce.
Pierce jumped up there before me. I'm stuck with the shirts. Come on.
Hey man, priorities.
You're stuck with them. Thank you for the shirts, by the way.
You're welcome. Absolutely. I'm getting. And now I officially have a spreadsheet that is tracking materials going out.
Hey man,
you are
it's a good problem.
I like it, man. You're so organized, man. You can learn
Absolutely,
so
man. I'm about
much
to
from
fly
you.
out to Nashville just so I can see where all my decals are.
You don't have to. Instagram will see them. Don't worry.
Could I want to ask one thing as well. Speaking on the channels, is there a chance that we could maybe do like a support channel? Because I actually have my notifications turned off, even on a lot of the Slack.
I like that idea.
I like that idea too.
Was that Kramer?
Yeah, that's me. And what I mean is, like, if we're out in the field and we've got a support question, like, we can drop it there. Everybody knows
Yeah.
a high priority.
Yep.
I actually did that to Pierce earlier this week.
Perfect. I like that.
Maybe we should name it Ubiquity since we don't have any type of support.
Oh man. That was great.
It's community. Come on.
Yeah.
Your stuff's not working. Have you tried rebooting it?
Yeah.
Just a
You
pleasure.
turn it
Check the
back on.
phones.
If it still doesn't work, then go somewhere else.
If it doesn't work, order a new one on Amazon.
We've changed our database to Wireshark, but we're not allowing. You have to do that by yourself. In order to do that, you have to clear the whole stupid system. Best of luck.
All right. Moving on. Cool. What else we got? Let's see. General ground rules. So for the general channel, I'm just using that for right now to do updates on Low Voltage Nation, like the podcast guests, maybe kind of get people roped in as I do the podcast, like to do like drop-ins. So I'm just kind of using that as just like a general, like, hey, here's an update. Here's an Ambassador Mastermind meeting. Here's the agenda. So I just kind of want to use it as that for now. And then if you guys want to continue on with the random stuff, that's great. So just generals are going to be kind of just general updates, kind of just general chatter, and then the random is going to be completely off-topic stuff that I probably won't check.
Do you guys think we should make like almost like just a short rules and regs kind of deal, just so people know, like, hey, look, guys, you get like 1 or 2 infractions if you really go off on a tangent, just to kind of lay the rules out before anything gets out of hand?
Yeah,
or you think that's too much?
For that.
No, that's actually a really good idea. And I think that whoever created the random channel kind of put the purpose of it in there, but I like the rules and regulations. So yeah. I don't know who's typing right now, but they are getting after it for sure. So
Oh, that's me. Sorry. I'm you.
clack, 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 clack.
He's got one of those old keyboards.
I know, man.
I've got no. It's a very new keyboard, but it's very clickety.
Spring loaded. That's funny. Okay, so we're gonna do. So I'll do the ground rules. I'll do Blake. Will create ground rules for general. Okay. Yeah, just keep it positive and productive. Yeah. No negativity. Zero tolerance for that.
Yeah, we get enough of that from our clients, right?
I know, right? Yeah.
God.
Man. This is why we have this, so we can be positive and enjoy our job.
Keep it all uplifting,
Yep.
Exactly.
Cool, guys. All right. Well, I do have some of the value add stuff. The social media links, we talked about that. We have the hashtags, and then Marco, he made this folder. So upload your logo. If you want your logo on the shirts that Marco's going to create, drop it in here. Any remarks on that, Marco? Anything else you want to add to the shirts you're going to make for everybody?
I guess what we'll do is it's up to you guys. I mean, I wouldn't say like Christmas, but maybe sooner than later, next couple weeks.
Got it.
And then I guess we'll kind of, what do you think, Blake? Should I send like an email out with it to you, and then you kind of distribute it from there, and we'll see what people like and don't like? I mean, I wasn't thinking of getting real crazy with it, but just something that, we kind of all have.
Yeah. I kind of want to give you creative freedom, but yeah, let's get it's kind of, I guess, drop it into the Slack channel. Let's try and keep as much in Slack as possible. Let's make that our central.
Yeah, less to manage outside of it. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that folder in my drive. I don't know if I'm included in that, but I don't see it. So I have the concealer plates, but I don't have any of the other.
So you can't click, Mason. You can't click on that, and then it pulls you.
Oh, it's in there. Okay, never mind. Yep, I see it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Action items. We have some action items. So just continue to follow people, engage on their stuff, like it, share it. You know, keep commenting, build our community. That's about it. Does anybody else have any questions before we wrap it up?
I just wanted to say that at the end of the document here, I put some stuff about door and hinge adjustment. So these are not affiliate links.
Why not?
But I know, man. Make them take the low voltage affiliate links, man. Do it.
Yeah.
So there's some tools that I've used and I've had good success with. So I have the hinge doctor and the hinge tweaker for bending hinges, and then a link to Just Door Tools. It has a whole page here of different fire rated shims. So they're not the cheap shims that you're gonna get anywhere else. I doubt any inspector is gonna pull off a hinge to see if there's any non-rated hinges in there or non-rated shims, but you never know. It's always good to be on the up and up. And there's a door gap gauge here too, which is pretty awesome. I think you can find something similar somewhere else. Just Door Tools it's good stuff, but a lot of it's pretty expensive. You can find it elsewhere, but it's just kind of a good resource to see what's out there as far as different door products. If you want to start adjusting some doors and get into that fun.
Cool. Anybody else?
Has anyone used those Windy City jacks? I just put them in the document there. I believe they're CommScope jacks, but Windy City sells them.
They are CommScope.
I have not.
Okay.
They're similar to the ICC HDs. I don't know what kind of pricing they have. I know we've looked at it. We're kind of Windy City veterans, but it's. I don't really know if they put a heavy markup on it or anything. I know they've been pretty good with a lot of things, but as long as the jack is certified, it's good.
yeah, because we've been using the vertical jacks, and we really like them. I just figured maybe those would help with near and crosstalk just a little bit more. And then they also have the strain relief built in. So I was just curious if anyone used them.
Getting all fancy, Mason.
Yeah. when you have that DSX tester, you're like, oh, can I push it a little further? Can I get a little bit more out of this cable?
Boys and their toys.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen honestly a big difference between the CommScopes and the ICCs, which ICC is not made here, unfortunately, but we come across those, the Levitins, a lot of Ortronics too, but Ortronics is definitely not a cost-effective solution by any means, especially depending on which ones you get.
All righty, thank you.
Yep, thanks, Mason. Going once, going twice. All right.
Done.
Yep, it's done. I've got Austin White on the podcast. I did that yesterday along with and another one with Will from CBS Tech New York. So Austin's going to drop tonight, and then Will, I think he's on the call, but yeah, we had a really fun time talking about all that cool stuff he does at CBS Tech. There's some good little nuggets in there, so y'all look out for that. And I really appreciate everybody getting on the call. This has been incredibly insightful and helpful. So I'll talk to you guys soon. All right.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Blake. Thank you.
Have a good Sunday, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers.